All right, thank you for staying with us. As I said earlier, we take the year 2024, under review this morning to look at, some of the critical times, events, happenings that have happened this year, if I may use that word, from the social space to the political space, in government, education, health, even in sport, entertainment, as time will permit us. Many of the things have happened this year, and how have they impacted, the qualities of, the quality of lives of Nigerians. Have we gotten better as a people and as a nation? We get a general overview, and for my guest and our guest, and then we look into these sectors or these happenings one after the other. We have with us today two gentlemen. Of course, they have been our friend all through the year. Public affairs analyst of repute in, that is who they are, Dr. Oluyemi Omotosho. Good morning, sir. Good to have you here.
The player of the
compliment of the season.
Same to you.
All right. And of course, Comrade Larry Fadansi, thank you for coming again.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. And good morning, my sister. I think we're meeting for the first time.
Yeah. All right. Very well. Let me start with, Comrade Larry Fadansi. Let's take a general overview as a country. If you were to define, the words that describe Nigeria as a state in 2024, what will it be?
It's painful, but nothing to really rejoice about 2024 for us as a nation.
In 365 days?
Well, a lot of things happened.
Yeah.
And so the main focus of my own view of whatever is about the mass. The mass. If you ask me, if 95% of citizens of a nation cannot rightfully say they have been served, then it's a failed nation. If there is a year that 95% of your population cannot boastfully, 95% are saying they have not. If you have like 30% saying, no, our views, dreams, and aspirations have been met, then you might think, well, it could get better. Do you understand? But, hello, let me.
Yeah.
The rich are crying. For a rich man to carry his car, which is relatively big, from Ilesha to Lagos, he needs about 150,000 to go and come back. So if he has ₦1 million on him, he has to take hotel accommodation in Lake. That's gone in 1 weekend. So even the rich are crying. That's the kind of nation we found ourselves in 2024. Before God and man this morning, I have to be sincere with you. This morning,
yes, please.
Immediately I realized we were coming here, I felt, come, you are an old man now, and you are going into a new year. Ask yourself, are you being circumspect about your opinion about the nation?
Yeah.
And so I said, well, as a journalist, I want to ask questions,
Yeah.
even from a machine. And I went on to AI. And the questions I think, as a professional like yourself, that you might ask me, just indulge me 3 minutes. I said, okay, let me ask AI. What are the social indicators of political leadership in Nigeria? It's the machine answering me.
Yeah.
And it says the social indicators of political leadership in Nigeria are multifaceted and complex. To start with, leadership dependability. How dependable are our leaders? It's a machine responding to me. It says to start with, leadership is crucial and determines the government's ability to provide basic necessities like, look at the first thing is look at education. That's the first one he's talking about. Healthcare and infrastructure. We are in Osun State. Those three, education, healthcare, infrastructure, as a national responsibility of government to us.
Yes.
That's one. Effective leadership should also foster national integration. You can see now that some parts of Nigeria are so disgruntled that, look, we are not part of this arrangement at all. That national integration promoting unity among diverse ethnic and religious groups. This can be achieved through inclusive policies, representation, and social cohesion initiatives. Right. Look, all of these things, why I'm saying this is, the way I went is, I know my position. And people are thinking this guy is highly opinionated, but I'm relying on facts around me. So I wanted to look for elsewhere where I can. If you look at what this thing was telling me, I almost wept for us. I'm glad I could. He said, do Nigerian leaders see all these indicators of social growth or are deliberately acting up? He said Nigerian leaders are aware of the social growth indicators, but the question remains whether they are deliberately ignoring them or not. Machine telling us that our leaders might be deliberately ignoring the indicators that they know are really the things that can give solution to our problems. He's talking about the youths. I'm just now saying that he talks about the young people, that they are about 60% plus of the population of Nigeria, and that the system does not cater for them, does not look at their needs. And he's telling them to band and change things. So you see, I want our leaders to understand that technology has made the world a microspace. And if the young people can really look at this, because it talks about our corruption machine, telling us about our corruption as a nation as one of the reasons why we are not progressing. Also, Nigeria has all the potentials.
Yeah.
When you talk about potentials, we have the human capital that can make. You see, let me tell you the fear of the world powers. If Nigeria gets it right, Africa will take over the world, and they don't want it to happen. And Nigeria is the center point of African leadership. Now, so the moment we miss it here,
yes,
Africa cannot get it.
Now, you talked about AI very well. It's, you know, it's a high-tech instrument that picks and sources for information very quickly than a man will. But now, we are humans and we are here. And we have lived in this country, you know, before now. And the year under review, 2024, essentially you'll be talking about leadership and what it has done to the nation. One would say, this didn't just happen to us in 2024. It has always been like that. Maybe the bar has been dropped or the bar has been, you know, put up is another question. But I'll come back to that. Dr. Oluyemi Omotosho Jr., for you, what will be your general assessment of 2024 for us as a nation, critically looking at it, before we now go to the nitty-gritty?
Honestly, I think
successes made, challenges,
it was a year of suffering and hardship imposed on us deliberately by our leaders. We didn't bargain.
That's a strong word, deliberately.
Deliberately imposed, and I will explain.
Okay.
You know, before they came, they said they have the solution to all the problems.
Who are you talking about?
They told us the president himself. He said
at the national level.
Yeah, at the national level. He said he has the solution to petroleum problem, the solution to naira nosediving, the solution to unemployment, the solution to poverty. Unfortunately for us, he went through wrong paths. And what is this wrong path? He took over. In the first instance, the election that brought him was controversial. Let's leave that. The fact remains that when he took over, what did he do? He went to the Bretton Woods institution and took their policies hook, line, and sinker. In other words, he made Nigeria to look as if we are not thinking. And so these policies that have been imposed on us were wrongly imposed and arrogantly imposed by one person when there was no cabinet. He started, you know, by removing the PMS subsidy. He floated the naira.
But that was last year.
Upcoming.
That was last year.
Yeah. That's the effect of what we are still feeling in 2021, and we'll feel it in 2027. Now, let me tell you, those are the only few things. The only thing we enjoy is the PMS in this country. There is no other thing. And I tell you why I say you went through the wrong path is that you cannot take the IMF and the World Bank, the Bretton Woods institutions policies, hook, line, and sinker, and expect your country to thrive, and expect your people to survive, and expect your people, your economy to improve. That's the wrong path. And let me give you 3 examples. There is no nation in the world, all successful nations in the world, does one thing or the other for their citizens. Let me start with the Chinese people. The Chinese people, you are in China, they provide infrastructures for you. So if you have $1 million, you can enjoy facility infrastructure that is up to 1 billion naira to do your business. And so your business is moving. In the US, they provide credit facilities. And then you can do business with a minimum. You know, credit facility in US is like 5%, 0.5% in some instances. And so your businesses can try, you can plan. And then when you go to the West provides social services like free transport fare is is affordable.
Subsidized.
Health services, or energy, all of them are subsidized, and so they enjoy that. In our own case, because you want to take the Bretton Woods policies hook, line, and sinker, what did you do? You devalue your naira. 3 conditions are necessary. You devalue your naira. That has been done. That is bad. Professor Aluko told us some years ago, late Professor Aluko, that one of the things a good country should not do is to devalue its naira. The IMF will tell you devalue your naira.
But Ghana did.
And they failed. And then they did. And don't you see the president that did has been removed? Ghana is suffering seriously.
But it appeared to work for them.
No, it didn't work for them. If it worked for them, they will not remove him with that gap. If it worked for them, the poverty in Ghana will not be increasing. If it worked for them, the unemployment in Ghana will not be increasing. The city has nosedived too. You devalue your currency, you liberalize your economy. And then the third factor, you introduce tax reform. And these 3 conditions, this president has done. And I tell you today, those 3 conditions is what is actually
the tax reform thing is still in the works.
Is what is already we know we are dissipating our energy on it, and it's unnecessary. You don't tax an economy that is not productive. You tax wealth. You don't tax individuals that are poor. What I'm trying to say is that is the last front of the Bretton Woods institutions, policies. He has accepted them.
Sorry, Doctor, if I may butt in. These institutions have dissociated themselves. They publicly say we are not responsible.
They didn't.
We didn't advise your government. Everything your government has done is on them.
No, as long as you take their loans, you abide by their conditionalities. We have done it before. Under SAP, Falai, and Babangida, we did it and we failed. Ghana did it and failed. Ruto did it. Ruto reversed it in Kenya. Here you said we'll continue, and the people came here and said we need under 15 years to continue. So what I'm trying to say is that this 2024 has been a year of hardship and suffering because of the policies deliberately imposed on us by the leaders we elect because they find it difficult to think. Now, with the internal mechanism that operate within Nigeria, it's more than enough for us to cushion our economy. We have the resources, we have the talents, and so we can improve this economy without actually going abroad. We can improve this economy by increasing our productive base, by encouraging our farmers, by encouraging agriculture, by encouraging industry. Now, when you devalue your currency, what are you expecting? And you know what is happening now.
Right.
Look at the inflationary level. How many businesses can thrive now? For me to come here this morning, I need to buy fuel. They say it has reduced at about $9.80 or $9.90. What is that? And then you know how much it costs me to live here and go back to where I'm working. And so what we are saying is that you devalue your currency, and so an average human being that is citizen coming from abroad, just passing through Nigeria, just landed here, maybe on transit, and has 1,000 naira in his pocket. By the time $1,000. By the time you exchange that money, you are talking of 1,600,000 something. Now, that average citizen can sleep in a 5-star hotel and buy everything he wants to buy and take it to US. And so you devalue your currency and make it available for foreigners to come and do away with all your products at very, very cheap rates. And then salaries are stagnated. And so Nigerians are not enjoying anything. So this is a year of hardship, a year of suffering, and a year that the president himself told us he will continue with these hard policies. People are dying. At the tail end of this year, about 70 people died because they are struggling for food. And then when last did you see Nigeria struggling and stampeding, for food that is not even up to 5,000, up to 3,000, which people are giving? If you shout here now and say you want to give garri to people, the number of people you will see will embarrass you. So it is deliberately imposed because the president and his team are not thinking. And I tell you, the 2 major fronts that actually, destabilize this economy and why our leaders are running from pillar to post is because of the removal of subsidy and the floating of the naira, which was done, I mean it, arrogantly by the president without consulting anybody and without the cabinet in place. And so this suffering will continue. till the next 2.5 years.
I hope you are not being a prophet of doom here.
No, I wouldn't be, because the
we are
omens are
rounding off a
bad.
year. We are going into another.
The omens are just bad.
All right, let's.
In fact, I must tell you today.
Since we have started,
sorry.
yeah.
I told you here some times ago that the naira we exchanged for 1,000. You know, I was right. I was vindicated. I'm telling you now, before the end of 2025, the naira will exchange to the dollar up to about 1,800 to 2,000.
Okay, Nigerians will say we hope it doesn't.
If they don't change their ways and means.
All right. Now, since we have touched on economy already, I put this at the inflation rate. You have mentioned some of what happened. As of December 2023, the inflation rate, was 29.05%. Inflation rate was 29.05%. So as of this year now, as of October last year, we are yet to have the one for November and December. But as of October, that was less than 2 months ago, it has increased to 33.88%. And of course, food inflation is always, much more higher.
Higher, about 48%.
Than that. So, but many persons tell you that we have many developments in the economy that, the Dangote refinery came full stream this year as well, with this back and forth and all the policies behind it is working. Talking about main source of income, petrol, the Port Harcourt refinery has come full stream. We learned the Warri is refinery has come up again. And this will impact in the long term because we are taking every side into consideration here. And to say we have not made any gain at all in 2024. The president said, yes, these hardline policies, according to his own promise, will work at the end of the day. Now, petroleum at a point was selling 1,100 naira. Gradually, it has reduced to 990, 980 right now. And I'm staying with you, Dr. Oluyemi Omotoso as well. Shouldn't that count for something, even if there are little gains?
Yeah, we have made some negative progress. If we are coming from a naira exchange to the dollar of
negative progress.
Yeah, negative progress.
Yeah.
Because if your GDP, if the inflationary trend is higher than your GDP, that's negative growth. That's simple economics. Now, if we are coming from an angle of 450 naira to a dollar, and then we move to 1,700, 1,800, and then we are back to 1,600, we have gained like 200. That's progress. I mean, when you compare that with 2.5 years ago, is that progress?
But the president,
now, if you
the president said before we were living fake life.
What is
that's what he said.
These are the things I hate.
And these are his explanations.
Excuse me.
You might hate to hear it, but the president has information.
Because they are just not.
He said, "This is our reality."
They
now.
are not. Are you living a fake life? I am living according to my.
As a nation.
I am living.
So we are borrowing for consumption.
I am living according to my salary, to my income.
Yeah.
And then, as a nation, if we are living a fake life, it is from our leaders. It is the president himself who is borrowing every minute. And at the same time, he's riding one of the best vehicles among all presidents in the world. He's buying a yacht. He's purchasing an aeroplane of $100 million.
He must move.
And he must move. Is that what they do in other clients where they are not even borrowing like us? How can you not be borrowing the money and be using it, to procure, frivolity? And so the people living fake life are those in government. Since he came, cost of governance have been increasing. And so he is the person living fake life. I expect a country that is borrowing in trillions. I expect the president to reduce the cost of governance in terms of his type of vehicle, in terms of his movement, in terms of, number of ministries we are having, in terms of number of ministers, in terms of, those special assistants that are employed and you are paying every day. They are increasing every day. And you are saying we are living a fake life. Who are the people living fake life? It is the government. It is not the citizens. The citizens are just managing to survive. Let me tell you, we are on survival mode. Survival mode means that we are just managing to exist. And that's the simple truth. Go and look at the price of meat. And the salaries of workers have not increased. When you talk of PMS now, you say, yes, Dangote is here. We thank God for it, but you know all the politics that went into it.
We're still working.
So if we are buying PMS before it came, at 165, 145, 165 naira per liter. And it has gone to 1,600 and something. And then suddenly it reduced to 1,500. And then later it reduced to 1,080. Now it has reduced to 980. And then we are coming from an angle of 165. You say we have made some progress.
As a nation,
so as a nation, somebody has made a terrible mistake, and we are trying to reduce the mistake. That's what I classify as negative growth. Right. And so it is unfortunate that we are moving like this because the person we elected did not take his time. He put the cart before the horse. Not take his time to consult with stakeholders, to consult with experts. He did not even wait for the formulation of his cabinet before taking critical decisions. If he has done that, honestly, at times I think maybe he has good intention. But when I look at 1 year plus, and I observe the pain in town, without the president thinking that there is a need to reduce this pain, right. I keep on thinking maybe these people are wicked. Because how can you move, buy bread for your daughter from 250 naira, and the bread is now 1,800? And then how do you cope when your salary is stagnant? When the daughter eats bread? So the pain is too much, the hardship is too much, and it is deliberately caused because of people who are really and guiding us who are not thinking. They are just not thinking.
Okay. Doctor, so from what you've said so far, you talked about salaries not being increased and Nigerians are suffering.
Yes.
Okay. From the last presidential chat he had, the president said that the minimum wage was talked about and it was increased.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And also, he also talked about he said that Nigerians should be patient, that gradually we are going to get to our destination. Now, from what he said and from the view of the PMS that we've been seeing, at least from the refineries coming up here and there, isn't there a possibility that somehow, somewhere, we're getting there?
Well, very good. It's good to be optimistic. Honestly, I want Nigeria to get it. I want our leaders to get it. The point is that the omens are still bad. The indicators are showing negative growth. There is no, all what he's saying in the presidential media chat you talk about, to me, is like a town hall meeting. That's not a presidential media chat where you have about 7 journalists interviewing one man, and the man you are interviewing, the interviewee is in charge, more than those who are interviewing him. Only Mope and one other person there was fair. The party that coordinated it, honestly, I was disappointed in him. The real questions were not asked for the man. They didn't ask him the real questions. They were asking him questions that to me are wishy-washy. And so, why didn't they ask him that the minimum wage you are paying, have you paid as the federal government, as the head of the federal government, have you paid your workers? Let him answer that question. The refineries you said are working. How are they working? Out of the 4 refineries you promised will work, how? The Warri refinery is dying and waking, dying and waking, and dying and waking.
So you're not seeing this as
it is awake again.
It's awake again. Thank you. I'm happy you know it's awake again.
Okay.
It will die again.
So you're not seeing this as
we hope it will.
No, I'm coming.
Let's be patriotic here, Doctor.
They didn't ask him critical questions. Yeah. They asked him about the stampede. He was blaming the organizers. The organizers had good intentions. Something went wrong. You didn't even look at that. Didn't provide any solution. We are just talking. Did you look at the health? Did you look at the budget? Did you look at the value of the currency? Are you happy as it is now? Did they ask him about the productivity of Nigeria, where we are before and where we are now? We are going to South Africa. We are fighting Niger Republic. And I tell you, we are now going to South Africa to beg South Africa to grant us visa-free permit. And that is happening in Nigeria of today. South Africa that will help to get out of apartheid. South Africa should be begging us. In fact, South Africa should be giving us things the way, to appreciate us. But we are begging them today. Now, you are fighting Niger and the other neighbor. All your neighbors are against France. You are going to France regularly. That's why I tell you that the Bretton Woods Institution's policy that is taking hook, line, and sinker will take us nowhere. So all the things he's saying are not good omens that can change this economy positively. As I talk to you today, if care is not taken, the prices, inflation will continue to increase. Food inflation is about 48% now. How can the president be comfortable with that? And then, 2, the infrastructures are just not working. How many people can do businesses? Small and medium enterprises are closing down on a daily basis. Multinationals are leaving Nigeria. Why are they leaving? You should ask yourself this. The environment is not conducive. And in the midst of all this, you bring a tax reform, which I support in writing, but which the timing is wrong, because the bottom line of that tax is to increase tax. and see everybody is against it, the NEC was against it, the governors forum were against it, and then you are insisting you must continue. So in all these cases, the essence of governance is to make your people comfortable, to provide welfare and security for your people. Where is the security? That's the question I want them to ask him. People will tell you security has reduced. It has reduced. Good. How? How many people are there? Can you still travel with your 2 eyes closed now?
But the president disagrees. He says that the northern region is a place where you can easily travel now. From his last chat, he said that unlike before, you could not really access that area.
If you travel between here and Abuja and you are back safely by road, you are just lucky. So many people are unlucky. I will not even take a chance because it is just not realistic. The bandits are there. The Lukarawa people are there. The low mines on the road. I'm not saying they are not doing anything. They are doing something. Let me tell you, between 1922 and 2021 and 2024, they have spent so much money from $996 billion on security in 2021 to $1.2 trillion in 2022 to $1.4 trillion in 2023 to $4.6 trillion they want to spend in 2025 on security. Yet that humongous amount of money has been spent, yet these people are still ravaging here and there. Can you go to Jos? Don't you know what happened in Jos? Don't you know what happened on the road to Zamfara? Don't you know what happened even of recent when our military people who are working hard, they are working hard, and then do they have the facilities? They have the facilities to decimate these bandits. At the end of the day, you want to decimate a bandit in a particular village and you kill 10 people there, although that is being investigated. Yes. What I'm trying to say is that the president can tell us all the stories that is in charge and that is improving. There is on the table the reality on the day is that staring us on the face is that poverty is here, hunger is here, unemployment is here, hardship and pain is here. And I appeal to the president
let me go to Comrade.
To try as much as possible to reduce the pain.
We talked about, Comrade Fadamsi, we talked about increase in minimum wage the other time. That's one of your 40. Actually, the labor movement, our back and forth at the end of the day, 600,000 naira, 460, 480, nothing less than one, whatever. At the end of the day, 70,000 I was agreed, on the national level. Until now, the federal government is here to pay. Many states have said, okay, we'll pay 70,000 naira, 72,000, 75, 80,000 in Rivers and Lagos. Some of these states have started paying, but they are at the national level. The government have not started paying. Why? I know you don't hold the brief for the federal government, but why do you take that as the federal government being insensitive, or possibly they are still working their papers?
Our nation presently,
because they promised to start paying in July. Our
nation presently is being run by graduates of Niccolo Machiavelli. They studied how to inflict pain on people and laugh and joke about it. That's the people ruling us now. In the chat, the president talked about his friend that was using a Rolls Royce that has now gone down to a Honda. But he's buying Escalade. It doesn't matter. If I reduce your person, so long as my lifestyle has not changed, my son can live. People know that Sheyi wears wristwatch, watch millions of naira. Do they care? They don't care. I'm okay. I don't care about you anymore. That's why I said they are graduates of Nuclear Bank, and so they don't care about. I'm okay if you're not okay. To hell with you. They have not paid the 70,000 naira. It's 70,000 naira that I boastfully talked about at that media chat. It's $40. The 30,000 naira was $125. You have reduced the lives of people, reduced their purchasing power. That's what you are succeeded in doing. Does it really matter? We have a president that the CIA said they have about 500,000 files on him. So it's not the president. Hello, where are those at the media chat did not mention the Malta story. The Malta story is talking about the oil and gas industry, and the president is the minister. We are in Nigeria. The vice president of Nigeria went to UAE to commission a fully owned Nigerian oil depot, oil reserve depot. And we know in Nigeria, in the records of Nigeria, that Nigerian oil is stolen daily. Where is it stolen to? Who are the people stealing it? Those who rule that level of kind of cult's leadership care less about you. They attain power, they take it by force. And when they do, they leave you. It's state capture. Do you understand?
That's what's
and
happening.
I told you here, and I told you I've been prophetic about it. By the time we get to the end of next year, some 3-4 governors of opposition parties will cross to APC. Is it for service delivery to Nigerians? The head man in charge of the Federal Capital Territory knows that those who are in national politics want to be landlords in Abuja and wants to remove them from being landlords unless they join the group. You know how to use by brute force.
Yeah, said they are owing the duties. They
you don't get the drift of what I'm saying.
I'm just saying what he's saying.
He's not the first one. El-Rufai was there.
Yeah.
They alleged that he took land from people and gave to his own cronies. And Wike, in less than 6 months, have been accused of the same thing. Do you get the drift of what I'm saying? And he's the kind of person, I mean, look at that kind of personality. I can't be president of a nation, and that kind of personality will be around me. Talking about what you did for your leader publicly to malign this person. He has my pictures in his toilet. What kind of leadership?
Well, you say maybe it's Dutch politics.
Don't let me use language.
Yes, please.
I don't even degenerate to that level of using foul language. He doesn't care.
So the payment has
So what I'm telling you,
national level.
what I'm telling you is that a lot of people who want to remain relevant in Abuja that were sent from our localities in Osun, Ogunle, will want to go and fall in line. Do you understand? Not minding the votes of the people that brought them to those assemblies, they want to go in line and join the ruling party. Because elections in Nigeria, my brother, I tell you, the political class can continue doing their game. If all of them banned, somebody was outside and they said it's not served a la carte, that you grab, snatch, and run with it, and he won an election, and he's now the sitting president, and you say you want to win him in an election,
All right.
he will superintend.
Because of our time, because of time, you know, we have a long way to go. And before Zoms comes in again, let's talk about the fight against corruption. This year is the year that EFCC has been so busy, and many persons will say, you have done, in fact, many persons say, oh, look what the new leader has done more talking than working, you know, because especially the Yaya Bello case almost made a mess of him, actually, because he was boastful. I was going to get him. At the end of the day, maybe a few months ago, Yaya Bello finally walked in, and at the end of the day, after almost a year of being said to be missing, actually, they couldn't find him. And there was, you know, all kind of posts on him, wanted, and all of these things. Apart from that, this year as well was a year that state government, many of them went to court to say the law that established the FCC is illegal, and they took it to the Supreme Court. And the Attorney General of the EFCC defended it. The Supreme Court gave a landmark judgment to say the EFCC can stand. The laws establishing it is not fake. It's not, you know, they didn't bring it from any convention anywhere. So what does that do to the EFCC and generally the workings of the EFCC and the fight against corruption in 2024? And some of the examples I've given are more. What do you think it is? Are we on the right course?
We are not on the right course.
Maybe the journey is like a crawling one. Are we moving?
If you look at convictions in terms of cases of corruption in Nigeria, then you will understand that we're just playing to the gallery about fighting corruption.
But EFCC is not sleeping, are they?
Yes, not sleeping. What have they done? Like you rightly said.
They got
Did you not see?
They got a forfeiture of 774.
You see, we don't have to. We don't have to wait till.
Because we talk about what they've done. You just talked about conviction.
We have the kind of Arab Spring situation where people will now deliberately take self-immolation to protest against this system. Yaya Bello was in court in Nigeria. That the judge had to stand up that she wants to leave the court scene because and he was the one calming down people. Do you know the kind of nation we are in? That kind of thing is happening here, and we're talking about you. One young man wrote about the justice system. People are shouting. I see that that person is ready to die. That look, you can't continue. We can't grow as a nation with the way our things are being run. Too much corruption in the land. Hello, for EFCC, you don't need to prod them. They'll just go and get you. But our institutions are the worst institutions that are supposed to help the nation to grow. When your institutions are strong, it is easy to get results. I'm telling you till tomorrow, whatever EFCC wants to do, they'll still take instructions. That's why it is not independent. they still take instruction. You want to pick this person up, no, leave that one. Oh, that one is talking, so because he's blabbing his mouth, pick him up. Because if indeed EFCC is working, I don't think 75% of former governors should not be on this streets. Do you understand?
Why?
Because of the level of corruption that happened under their watch. And that law of immunity should be removed if indeed we want to solve the problem of corruption. How can we be living like this? Let me tell you the reality on ground. All of us knew the political leadership in Nigeria a year before they got into power. Who were they? And people will just, because they held public office, become billionaires, and we think we are running a national, we are not running a nation. It's a crime scene. It's a crime scene that deserves a crime scene tape. You know all those ones you see in America? Because how can somebody, they don't have any factories, they are not producing anything, they are not employing anybody. Femi, I tell you, and I want to be controverted on it, that in the last 10 years, year in, year out, Nigeria has been churning out university graduates, polytechnic graduates, and 95% of them remain unemployed year in, year out. And the nation is not looking at a policy that can address. Look, I'll tell you my real story. My son was to go for service, and he felt, Daddy, because our school will still take some 3 months, I want to start pig farming. I encouraged him. And I went there one day. He's a model. He models for some, so you understand, somebody who is into modeling, saying he wants to keep pigs. He will clean shit. So if you tell young Nigerian graduates, we will give you a job. He has to do in agriculture. And when we do that, we'll pay you what you are supposed to get as a graduate. A lot of them will work. You will work and produce. And by that production, there will be easy access to funds for you to use for other things. But we are not looking that way. They're not even looking the way of young people at all. And their own families are okay. They don't need to stay here even. That kind of a thing brings about revolution. We are begging them to avoid a revolution in Nigeria. The suffering is too much.
Quickly, sorry, we talked about the EFCC. Many persons will say, are we not putting too much on the EFCC to say, we have the ICPC as well. Independent
realistically, let me just call it.
We have the Nigerian police as well.
The Nigerian police has units with all the functions.
Of course.
These people are
yes,
doing.
they do.
They have their units established by law. But somebody needed a bulldog to go after his enemies. And we were thinking, let me tell you how the FBI, do you know that FBI and CIA come to Nigeria to pick up criminals? But before they do that, they have all their facts. All the network of drugs you have carried from here, they follow the tracks. They will not arrest them at every point until the last place you are dropping it. And they start arresting and come back to Nigeria.
You know, this example that you gave is what many Nigerians, including ourselves at this table, have said. If it will take you years for you to nail a case, don't go to the public and be shouting. Get your fact. And you know, there have been instances of the FBI guys coming for Nigerians. There was a case of Invictus Obi, one of those guys that was said to be very popular and a young person. In fact, Forbes had him at some point of one of the high flyers under 30, and they had his trail. I think they followed him for like 2 years. They came to Nigeria several times. By the time they came for him, everything is ready. Why don't you have that kind of investigation?
Because
the prosecutors will first come and announce, we are following 13 governors. We are following 2 governors. At the end of the day, you will hardly see prosecution of 2.
Femi, did you realize
is there our justice system?
Did you realize there was a fracas between DSS and I think EFCS officials in Lagos?
Yeah.
And Absol files were removed because those people who were to occupy places and they had to keep their files away from those agencies. Do you get so it's a corruption in itself. Do you get, because some people have done some things wrong and they are going to be investigated the moment they don't have immunity anymore. And the next thing you saw, an agency of government was fighting another agency because they wanted to remove the evidences against people. So don't you know who are in power?
All right.
Let me just say this, that the very day we are ready to run a nation that would take its pride of place in Africa, which is Nigeria, we must leave these shenanigans behind and face the monster. There's a monster that is staring us,
which is
throwing us away.
What's the monster?
Which is the leadership issue and those who are wearing that crown.
All right, you wanted to say
I just want to say that, you know, any nation where corruption is this pervasive and endemic can never grow. There's corruption in all the agencies in Nigeria. You are aware, you are talking of VFCC, ICPC. Are they not part of Nigeria? So you cannot exonerate them from the corruption. Look at the Bobrisky case. The fact that that issue can be mentioned, to me, is a shame on the EFCC. If I were the chairman, I would have resigned until that case is concluded. For an individual to come out and say, look, you did this, that is wrong. That institution should be sacred. That institution should live above board. Are they doing that? Don't you know the police who are in charge of prosecution here and there? Don't you know I read an article where they said, when you talk of corruption in Nigeria, the judiciary is the king. Is there anybody refuting that? Even the top echelons in the judiciary, they have never, the past 20 years, when Nigerians have been shouting about the corruption in the judiciary, they didn't talk. All these sons, all these top lawyers and top judges.
Some of them
they didn't talk. They only talk. They only talk when they are disengaging. And when they disengage, they talk like a Supreme Court. I mean, like a chief judge of the Federation saying something. They will not take him serious. And what I'm trying to say is that corruption stared them on the face until one of them is attacked now, and they defamed. He said they defamed him. That's where time is talking. All the years they have been saying judiciary is corrupt. Judiciary is corrupt. Will the top sons tell me they are not part of the judiciary? Right. Do they defend it? So what I'm trying to say is that when corruption is this pervasive and endemic, you don't expect growth and development.
All right, Doctor, we must move to other points.
Okay, I'll come to Comrade. We are talking about corruption. I want to streamline it to the process of end bad governance. Somehow, would say that, are we going to say that the people also are corrupt in this nature? Because if we're bringing it down to end bad governance, that protest lasted for like 10 days. I think it started from the 1st to the 10th of August. Yeah. And somehow, did we achieve actually what we were looking out for? Or was it just a propaganda to just come out and show off that we could actually talk, we could actually do something? But at the end, it was just for us to show off and then somehow relax.
That was not the situation. I will tell you. I'll tell you what happened. In 2012, there were protests against Goodluck Jonathan, championed by the president of Nigeria, the Femi Falana, a lot of people, including President Muhammadu Buhari. Goodluck Jonathan did not bring out soldiers or the police wearing red bands to say it's a red letter day and the rest of it.
As war.
A war. So they declared war during end bad governance. You understand? So it's like they were not ready for people to speak. The voice of the opposition is being drowned, and it's dangerous. Because by the time the opposition, the civil society groups decide to go under and operate on the ground, then anarchy is on its way. And so the end bad governance thing, the people left it because they realized, you see, when you're talking to a deaf and dumb, but not blind, in ways of communication, that person cannot hear you unless probably you know sign language. So you can't relate.
So isn't it imperative for us to keep talking? Like some human rights activists we talk to sometimes and say we should keep talking because Nigerians are just quiet. Like the doctor said, he said that we're just suffering. We're just suffering. So isn't it imperative for us to keep talking about this issue? Like you are talking about,
let me tell you the issue of divergent necessities. People have been made very hungry. And so some would freely, cheaply drop their gauntlet the moment they see a little bread here, some small rice there, some little change here, because it's been, a lot of Nigerians have not owned 5,000 of their own at a time. You understand? That he will say the whole of this 5,000, even if he collects at the site of labor 5,000 naira, he has already eaten rice and beans in the morning. Must pay that. So to hold it and put in his pocket that the entire sum, and the same nation has some people that will go and pick billions from government coffers and be getting titles. So that's why what happened in the north to be prevented. All those bandits were brought by some people for political reasons. At the end of the day, the bandits now saw lucrative business that just pick a few people. Ekiti Road, I think some people are picked up last. I don't know if they've seen them.
No.
Okay.
No. So what I'm saying in essence is that all these discussions we're talking about, the people are so impoverished that ability to really think straight and respond effectively has been dropped by half. And the end bad governance people are trying to help the system. To me, to my mind, I see a situation where for Nigeria to get out, it must get wild.
Well,
Okay.
To get out of all this
let me
lockdown,
just
it must
add
get
that.
wild.
The youths have tried. Nigerians have tried. They are talking. We are talking. Look, this government is trying to gag the voice of reason. Some of those who demonstrated during the end SARS protest are still facing the court for their fundamental human rights. Those who participated in the end bad governance, some of them are still facing trial. In fact, I read on the social media that somebody who talked something they classify as abusive to the president has been jailed.
That woman.
Look, the president himself, when he was in opposition, told Jonathan is a drunk. Is that not abusive? Jonathan will not even say anything. He just ignore it. Look, the look at Farotimi is now there's no defaming them. He's been talking over the years. This is not his first time. And so they are trying to gag the voice of reason. And it's unfortunate because this government came on the platter of being the friends of the people. But we keep on knowing every day that this government is against the people. It's against the people in terms of the policy, economic policies, the indecisive economic policies.
But can a government be against his own people? The policies might not be working.
Which people? Who are his people? Me that my salary has been reduced by 48% is his people, and he's not talking. I've told you now that they have increased minimum wage to 70,000. Under Jonathan, minimum wage was 180,000. That is $116 equivalent. Under Buhari, minimum wage was 30,000. That was $64. Under this man, minimum wage is 70,000. That is $42. Can you see my life?
Because of devaluation.
Because of devaluation, and then that's what we are saying. If you call even the four of us here together at that time and say, I want to devalue the naira, three of us will tell you, don't do it. You understand? You single-handedly did it, and then you put us into this difficulty, and you are moving from pillar to post, and then there is no solution. I tell you, there can be no solution. The economic indices are not showing that we can improve because the industries are down, the entrepreneurs are going away, the investors are not coming. How can investors come when insecurity is still pervasive, when corruption is still pervasive, when the judiciary is under serious trial? And so the voice of the people we are talking, Yoruba will say, the fact is that we are shouting, they are picking people up every minute, except those of us who are daring. It is quite unfortunate. This is not the type of government Nigerians bargain for. This December, this has been the worst Christmas in my life. It's not that I couldn't feed myself, per se, but because I can't even help people. I can't assist the people I used to assist. I cannot give. If I want to give one mudu of rice, my wife will shout. You know how much? A bag of rice now that we are buying 6,000 and we give like 2 bags to our neighbors who are vulnerable. It's now 120,000. Can I afford that with my salary? And 2, you want to buy fish, it's a no-go area. You want to buy meat, it's a no-go area. You want to buy chicken. Chicken now is 25 to 30,000. How many families can afford that? Yet, both the president, his wife, and his people who surround him are saying that there is light at the end of the tunnel. That the tunnel is broken. How can you see light?
Let's just look at it this way.
Yes.
As Nigerians, we have had past, present, and to talk about the future, we have to compare the two. The president was governor of Lagos State. Alhaji Lateef Kayode Jakonde was governor of Lagos State. The whole period of governorship of Jakonde was going from his house. That's the kind of leadership that we understood.
Yes.
With the foundational leadership.
Personal car.
He was riding his personal car. Jakonde Estate, you must have heard and known about it, was given to people working with the Lagos State government who cannot personally afford land And so you take your own flat, you pay over time, it becomes your own. That is mortgage system that the British practice, that everybody thinks, okay, I can survive with my little income. But now, go and look at it. Agencies are the ones doing things for the government. So it's mercantile. The people ruling cannot be in business, and you expect the people to enjoy.
No, these people are not doing governance. If they are doing governance, they will care about our welfare, they will care about health, they will care about education, they will care about infrastructure, they will care about how people are living. They will listen to the people.
Come to Osun. Now what we are talking about.
Yeah. And they look at us as
governor of
customers.
Osun State. Of course, they are together in the same party. Said, look, you can't. Oloye, you must have worked in the government house before. Okay. You can't come and say, I want to eat breakfast. What's wrong? Didn't you eat from your house? Do you get? That's the kind of leadership that Awolowo presented. Awolowo had schools that his own children can attend.
Comrade, let me stop you. Look at the last 3 days or the last 3 weeks. The president himself was distributing palliative in his house.
He has always done that.
In body law.
He has always done
Look, as a president.
For years, he has always done that.
Solution.
I mean, in fairness, for years, he has always done that.
Not that you are the president.
It is not.
Are you not supposed to provide policies that will make food affordable to the people? You don't need to give them.
There's a question. Wait, before we go for that, because you are a media person, you can engage them along the line.
Yes.
The first question I want to ask.
Gbajabiamila Amila was distributing exercise book last week himself.
My brother, I want to be challenged on this.
Poverty.
If they open Cotonou borders tomorrow and say food should come in, rice will come to 40,000.
Oh, yes.
Do you know why? To export anything to Nigeria, it's like 5-6 times the cost of doing it with our coastal
if that happens,
our policies as a nation is not working for us.
If that happens that those borders, Cotonou, Idiroko, Seme, borders were open and food will come in.
Allowed to come in.
What does that do to the local farmers?
Hello.
Business will die.
Those who took all this paddy loan stuff did not plant any rice.
All right.
It was paddy money.
We still have it. Sorry, gentlemen, we have to move. We have to move. All right. You know, this year alone, and again, we've had, in a particular state that has been bedeviled, whenever that state comes to mind, you just know this is quarrel. And it's River State, the governor of River State, and his former Oga, causing his former Oga, who is now the FCT minister, has been back and forth. There was a resolution earlier in the year, the presidential resolution, okay, do this, do that, represent your budget. And all of a sudden, those things are falling apart. In fact, in River State, as of today, let me start with Comrade, we now have 2 Rivers House of Assembly. One loyal to the former governor, led by Martin Amaule. One loyal to the governor, led by Okojumbo. That is the kind of state we have there. And the governor has just presented the 2025 budget again to a 3-man House of Assembly, in which they said they have the mandate of the law because they're the one doing the right thing. Martin Amaule is still parading himself as the speaker. Even when they said they defected, they've come out to say they didn't defect again. Even when the videos are there, these are some of the things that happened.
You are now talking. You are a media person. Did they not?
Now, we have left the national level now to state levels, and these are part of the event that I've had this year. And it's still happening. The 2 houses of assembly are still there.
The Rivers issue.
And it's looking like there is no end in sight.
When you are now talking about Dele Farotimi, I will now always go back because it has to do with justice system. The law of Nigeria says something about when you leave, even the principal, Wike himself, his videos are in the whole world, that he said you cannot take the votes of some people in the name of one party and carry it to another. But when it was time for him to run foul of that position, he did it effectively. Now, the sad part. The same courts that are interpreting laws, some courts in Rivers will give one judgment. Some other courts in Abuja will give contrary judgment. And so one court will say, Amawele is okay. Another court will still say, this. And what does that portend about the justice system in Nigeria? And what has that done to the morale of the people? In terms of Rivers, like we are now talking about, Odili was there. After him, Amechi. It's after Amechi that Wike came. The wife of Odili is a judge, a legal officer. Wike himself, a lawyer. His wife, also a judge. And this is the Nigeria where a senator, in valediction, said he assisted through his wife. So, was it Dele Farotimi that busted judges' homes and captured pound sterling and dollars in the middle of the night when the FCC did? Do you understand? What happens to those cases? Have we heard the last of, anything about convictions as regards them? So in Rivers, what has happened is just the jungle politics that we have turned the nation into. Because one man wants to pursue his own ambition. And that ambition is not for the people. You install people and tell them, look, it's because somebody just came out to say the only reason why Wike is fighting this is because he wants to use Rivers as where he will be siphoning money to keep for his presidential ambition, to fund it. And so Fubara does not want...
And he has always challenged people to...
Let me now tell you something about the
evidence.
nation.
Yeah.
Even as Fubara is there now, do you know that Fubara did not go for campaign to become governor because EFCC was looking for him on account of things he did for Wike? You get over 400 billion that he had to account for. Now the guy is there, and the guy knows everything they said they were looking for him for. Who took it? When I say crime scene, I understand what I'm saying. But these are the people now in governance. And you are expecting... So my mind, I've looked at, weighed the pros and cons of it, and realized in terms of Rivers, as per Rivers, Fubara has the support of a potential large crowd of... That's why I know now becomes an inconsequential person to Wike, and he had to go and align publicly. To me, gradually the descent is getting faster. The political thing we are celebrating over time, we are losing it to autocracy. Because majority, I'm telling you, predictions for... In the past, the God's power, when you are moving to a new year, we'll predict and we'll read it in the news. I'm telling you, majority of people will start moving to APC because you may not be able to even breathe on the street if you are a politician and you don't join.
Well, the corruption in the system will not allow any political party to break. And that is what is playing out in Rivers. It will play out in so many other states. It is corruption that has taken charge of our political system. And it is not only in Nigeria, it's the whole of third world countries. It's quite unfortunate. The national, we are even practicing a federalism that is bastardized. I have never read. I have a first class in political science and public admin. I have never read where, and I have a PhD in public administration. I have never read where they are practicing the type of federalism we are practicing. This is feeding bottle federalism, where the states that are supposed to be feeding the center is the center that is feeding the states. The states are not autonomous. And so everybody is looking for what he can eat, and resources are lying fallow without any exploration.
All right. We just have to talk about
and poverty is moving. So the poverty here will not allow internal democracy to take place in the parties. It will not allow internal democracy to take place even in their convention.
All right, Doctor, we still have a lot of ground to cover.
Actually, I would like to talk about the policies. As much as I love to talk about the Rivers politics, but we are out of time. But I would like to talk about policies. I'm going back to the national level right now. The national anthem that was passed into law this year. Doctor, I'll come to you on that. What do you have to say about that? Because
look, these are things to just keep the polity busy for nothing. We would need a national anthem. At the time he was talking about it, do you know why we changed the national anthem? You may not know, but I know. The Obasanjo changed the national anthem because it was a colonial, item, bequeathed on us. And we feel we should do things Nigeria. There was this Nigerianization policy. And that was why they coined that new national anthem. It was good. And then the pledge. And then you came and you said we should revert back to the old system. If we are reverting back to the colonial national anthem, why didn't we revert back to the colonial pound and shillings that we were using before? We were using pound and shillings before. It was the same Obasanjo government, and I think go on, that changed it to Naira and Kobo. In fact, Awolowo changed it during the Civil War. to naira and kobo, bequeathing our sovereignty. We are proud of ourselves. Now you are taking us back.
So for you, it was needless.
It was needless. That's part of the things I was saying, that they are just not thinking. And so what has that?
But the proponents said the wordings are very
what has that contributed?
Relatable.
What has it contributed?
Those are part of what he said.
Has that increased the food on the table?
And in fact, Dr. Senate President Godswill Akpabio said, in fact, he knows that the introduction of this particular anthem now will make youth to feel,
they passed that bill.
They will feel like they belong to the country. And many things that have happened in the past possibly wouldn't have happened.
They passed that bill within a jiffy.
Yeah.
And there are bills there that could have changed the welfare of the people positively, which they did not pass.
So this has nothing on us now.
These are jokers. That's why I told you that a government that came into power without plan cannot work and perform. There is no plan. If there is plan, they will not be moving from pillar to post. Look, we are brilliant people in Nigeria. This economy is the easiest thing to fix.
Right.
If we have planned. But you will not plan, and then you are, what is national item, for God's sake? In the midst of, since they change it now, has it put the food on our table? Has it increased our productivity? Has it strengthened the naira? As the other countries are coming, it has diminished us because we are not using
we have like 4 or 5 items to go.
Anthem, I'll just tell you.
Yeah.
The second
is our national anthem, not
own.
mine. It's our national anthem.
This one is talking about native land.
Yeah.
Native
Nigeria we held it.
Native land. You understand that those, when they call people natives, is derogatory in some instances. Do you understand? It's a native man means like it's a bush person.
That's the way you see it.
That's what they gave us. And now some people came and they did not like the idea of, oh God of creation, direct our noble cause. Guide our leaders right. Help our youth the truth to know. So since 2020 NSAS, some people don't want our youth to know the truth. They felt that line continuously coming every day. Guide our leaders right.
But the same people will always say the youth are the leaders of tomorrow.
You don't get it. Guide our leaders right.
EPA used to choose,
They don't want it anymore. Why must you be telling them they'll do NSAS again? So they threw that away. And now said, go back to your native land.
We have less than 7 minutes to go. All right. Yeah. And part of the development is here because you have been looking at it, and many Nigerians might be looking at you to say, maybe there are some things that has happened. The presidency and the president has introduced the student loan. Shouldn't that count for something? Because we must take it wholesomely so that we are not just complaining like nothing has even happened in the last 12 months. Number 2, the LG autonomy has come to be. That was a Supreme Court landmark judgment to say local governments, they are now autonomous. And henceforth, only democratically elected local government officials, that local government officials will be having access to the FAC funds and no more LCDAs. If you have an LCDAs, the state that created it, you have to fund it themselves. And the local government will now have autonomy. They superintend their decisions themselves. These 2 policies, student loans, LG autonomy, they were moved by the government in charge. Is that not a plus? Or you are not just seeing it that way, gentlemen?
Well, let me.
Comrade, let me ask.
Okay.
Because I retired from the local government system.
Yes. So
the local government had been
so you should be happy.
Pulsating and alive. We fought all of that. We needed our autonomy and all.
Right.
But the question now.
So that's a win, right?
It's been over 6 months that it has not happened after they promised that the autonomy will come. And Yomi Edu or Wali Edu of Finance is saying they are still working on nitty-gritties. But my own is this. I've been suspicious of it because when our president was governor of Lagos State, this was the main reason why they had issues with Obasanjo. The Obasanjo said there are 20 local governments in Lagos. You cannot create LCDAs because you want to corner the entire sum of local governments and use it at will. Why is it the president now saying 20, 30 years after that the position of Obasanjo is now right? Do you get?
Things change, people change.
That one, over 30 years that you are now sitting there is when, because they want to whittle down the power and capacity of governors, such that some local government chairmen with good population and relate directly with the federal might and make nonsense of positions by governors. It is the reason that some people are used. Now, in terms of corruption that we are talking about, resources that are being distributed, how does it go? I tell you, local governments were very functional in the past. But when they started all this autonomy stuff, it became a problem. To my mind, why was it bad then and it's now good?
All right, maybe
we look at it this way. Edo State, they are saying the local government chairman have had election. The governor cannot remove and all that. They said, look at the kind of crisis there. Is it not the same APC to APC?
Well,
and the AGF have descend down on the government in Edo State to say, you don't have that power.
You don't have that power, yes.
Those ones are just funny. They are
funny drama.
See, the real federalism talks about two
have less than a minute to
go. Talks about 2 tiers of government.
Yeah.
The local government on a normal federalism should be managed by the state.
But through the State House of Assembly.
Yes,
not through the
they have
executive.
their own councillors anyway.
Yes, they do.
But let's look at our, the bastardized system we are practicing.
Doctor, we have to go.
I understand
we have to go. But let me ask you one question.
The fund you go to them.
That I know you are an educationist.
Yes.
The student loan is on.
Yeah.
Is that not a win?
Look, we see that the student even deserve they deserve the money, not as loan, but as it's giving it as loan. Fine. If you continue to give it, that's the only thing they can benefit. If it goes wrong and then there is no discrimination, fine. Is there is a loan. That means that
everybody have access.
That means you can continue to pay.
Quick one.
When you retire or whatever.
Those talking about student loan now. But
because there's no money with the students.
Those talking about student loan now.
Yes.
We went to school together and we got bursary.
We got bursary free.
We were given bursary free. And student loan means you will pay.
You will pay.
And I said it that in the last 10 years, and being modest about it, graduates are being churned out, 95% of whom have not been planned for engagement.
Right.
So those who take loan to graduate school, how do they repay?
If you give them the
how will they repay loan? In the United States, they give loans, go and watch. They are complaining. Those ones are complaining that, look, I'm now indebted because I took student loan.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your time and
it's not working.
Nigeria can give that loan free of charge to
it's
students.
Grants to students.
Yes, as a grant.
All right. What a year we've had, actually, and it's good that we are finishing on this level. Many things to talk about. Trust me, we can't use 1 hour, 30 minutes to discuss a 365 days event that has happened in this very interesting nation of ours. But I want to sincerely thank you on behalf of everyone, gentlemen, and of course, all our guests that we have spoken to physically and virtually in all parts of the world for being ours and for, your time and your take. Some of these gentlemen and ladies, go through rigors for them to do what they do for us. So I want to say thank you, Dr. Oluyemi Omotosho, and of course, Comrade Larry Fadam. Thank you for your time.
For having me.
And we wish you a very happy and prosperous and complaint-reduced 2025.
Amen.
All right, the songs we should go.
Yes, we have to go. As much as we have to talk about a lot of things, but we have to go. I remain Uzom Sukechukwu. We'll see you tomorrow, 1st January 2025.
I'd rather say see you next year.
God will touch the heart of our leader.
And we will always do what is right as a people as well. Femi Ojo is my name. You could have a recap of all the programs we've had in 2024 on our YouTube channel at Western Spring TV. And of course, you should see the content that we have for you on our various social media platforms, on our X handle, on our Facebook handle, and of course our Instagram handle. Thank you for staying with us all year. Next time we'll be in the new year. So enjoy the rest of it. Yeah, let me add this. Don't put unnecessary pressure on yourself. The festivities will come and go. Your bills are still there. So please be responsible. God bless Nigeria. And Happy New Year in advance.